one of the longest histories of any country. The official language of Egypt is Arabic. In big cities, people can understand English.
Egypt is a country spanning the northeast corner of Africa and the southwest corner of Asia.
The Egyptian Revolution in January 2011 resulted in removal of President Hosni Mubarak.
With political disputes continuing well into 2012 and exerting negative impacts on economic growth and investor confidence, Egypt is steadily working on bettering the business environment by eliminating bureaucracy through implementing firm laws and introducing more incentives to investors. This video will briefly introduce business environment of Egypt based on the 5 environment dimensions.
So Egypt's economy mainly depends on agriculture, petroleum imports, tourism, and remittance from foreign nationals.
First, let us see economic and financial environment. Egypt has received United States foreign aid since 1979, an average of 2.2 billion per year, and is the largest recipient of such funds from United States following the Iraq War. Egypt's economy mainly relies on these sources of income: tourism, remittance from Egyptians working abroad, and revenues from the Suez Canal.
Since the uprising in 2011, Egypt's economy has been struggling to recover and forcing the government to take $12 billion of loan from the IMF.
In order to get that loan, it had to do some economic changes like floating its currency and raising fuel prices. Egypt had to devalue its currency to make its exports more cheaper, by which the Egyptian pound had lost up to 50% when compared to USD. Let us see some graphs which tell us more about the Egyptian economy. We can see that GDP percentage of Egypt in 2010 was 5.1%, and after the uprising kept on declining, and later, since 2015, we can see a steady rise in the GDP percentage. We can see that in the global competitiveness ranking, Egypt ranked up to 120 in 2014, and then the rank kept on getting better, and finally the ranks to 100 in 2017. If we see the inflation rate of Egyptian economy, then it is really bad. In 2010, it was 11.2%, and in 2012 it got better and was 7.1%, but later on it kept on going up, and in 2017 the inflation percentage which was recorded was 29.5%. If we see the GDP per capita chart, then we see that in 2010 it was $2,602, and it kept on steadily rising, and in 2017 it was $2,412. The purchasing power parity chart shows us that since 2010 the purchasing power parity of Egypt keeps on steadily rising, and in 2017 it was $16,940.
Modern technology played a big role in contemporary Egyptian agriculture.
Technological changes included the switch from basin to perennial irrigation, mechanization, application of the pesticides and chemical fertilizers, breeding new seed varieties, and in the 1980s, the beginning of the use of the drip irrigation and plastic greenhouses. Egypt still practices some attributes of Old World medicine, including natural remedies. However, Egyptians do have access to advanced medicine, especially in Cairo, including everything from vaccines to transplants. World Economic Forum's Global Competitiveness Report 2011 to 2012 ranks Egypt 113th out of 142 countries on the quality of its scientific research institutions and 83rd on its capacity for innovation. Based on the table, the spend of Egyptian government on the R&D is increasing throughout the years, which means the government thinks the technical of the Egypt needs to improve.
Islam is practiced by the majority of Egyptians and governs their personal, economic, legal life.
Egypt's population grows from 30 million to 100 million from 1960s to 2016, but the yearly population growth rate was declining over the years. Gini index in Egypt was reported at 31.8 in 2015. For the social progress, Egypt get a score of about 60.93 and the rank is 95. Based on the Hofstede cultural dimensions, the Egypt get a high score in power distance and uncertainty avoidance. And also, Egypt is a collectivism country with short-term orientation. The family is the most important unit of Egyptian society. Honor is an important facet of interpersonal relationships. Social class is very apparent in Egypt, since it determines your access to power and position. There are three social classes: upper, middle, and lower. Status is defined more by family background than by absolute wealth. Egyptians prefer to do business with those they know and respect. Therefore, expect to spend time cultivating a personal relationship before business is conducted. What you know is more important than what you know. So it is important to network and cultivate a number of contracts.
Egypt's legal system has been a mix of legal system, which consists of Napoleonic civil and penal law, religious Islamic law, and prestigious colonial era law. And the judicial system is guided by the Supreme Court.
Egypt's rule of rank 2016 shows that it ranked from 0.20 to 0.40 out of 1, which means that the government there is unable to implement and make strong rules and regulations. Let us see the ease of doing business chart. Egypt's rank in the ease of doing business is 120, and starting a business, Egypt ranks at 109, while paying the taxes, it ranks at 159, and we see that enforcing contracts is ranked 160. We also see the demographic index chart of Egypt, while overall score of the Egypt is 3.36 and the global rank is 127, while the civil liberties in Egypt are not very good, which ranks at 2.94, and the regime type of Egypt is authoritarian.
Poor air quality, especially in urban areas, is the main contributors to the high cost of environmental degradation in Egypt.
From this table, the nitrogen dioxide and black smoke in Egypt are much higher than the World Health Organization air quality guideline. The certification is exacerbating in Egypt, mainly from deterioration of irrigated farmland by using low quality water and of farmland utilizing rainwater in the northern coastal area in North Sinai and overgrazing in North Coastal area. The government of Egypt is aggressively undertaking greening of environment and implemented in many cities and governorates.
As we see, business in Egypt is growing but has some economic problem, but is very good at health and education. It's very good to invest in industries which are doing great in Egypt, as Egypt's environment supports the following industries. Textile industry is one of the industry in Egypt which is in high demand, as the Egyptian cotton is very valued. Even petroleum industry has high potential in Egypt, as it is one of the Arab countries which has good amount of natural resources in the form of oil and gas. Egypt's health industry is also very good, and hence pharmaceutical companies might want to invest in Egypt.
Egypt also has many disadvantages and ranks high in terms of inflation, corruption, and poor government policies. And hence, industries like automobile, hospitalities, and defenses are not suggested because they rely on the government policies and skilled labor, and that is where we see Egypt falls behind.
We hope this video will help you better understand the business environment of Egypt.
Thank you for your watching.